to Matters of DeCorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. We've had a very busy week, news-wise, and there's a few things that have happened recently that are actually probably going to be of fairly great import over the next weeks and months. I'm not really going to talk about them. I am, however, going to list them to give this text some context and place it in history. Recently, the Supreme Court ruled that it is the right of all to marry in all 50 states, regardless of sexual orientation, the gay marriage decision, or as we should be calling it now, and should always have been calling it, marriage. A shooting in Charleston, South Carolina recently prompted a decision to ban the Confederate flag, certainly to remove it from state buildings in South Carolina and perhaps over a larger area. The Senate just fast-tracked the Trans-Pacific Partnership for a vote with a minimal of review and debate, not necessarily a good thing. That's where we're at this day. But I'm not really going to talk about that stuff. This is Matters of DeCorum. It is what matters to me. And today, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, so to speak. I am going to discuss something I rarely discuss. I'm going to discuss my health because I'm laying a benchmark here. On a recent visit to my endocrinologist, I was informed I am not doing well. My A1C is over 9. I have a lot of spilled proteins in my urine, which is an indication of poor or failing kidney function. I am too heavy. I won't give you numbers on my weight because I don't want to depress myself. Add to this a few other health factors that I need to deal with. I have a tendency towards gout. I'm taking medications to prevent that. I need to watch my salt intake, not just for my hypertension, but also for the edema. I have 5 ruptured, herniated discs in my spine, and the rest of them are probably going to go at some point or another. I have a lot of pain management issues as a result of the rest of these issues, and a family history of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, which I do suffer from, and indicators for a bunch of other things that are probably going to meet me later on in life. It is worth mentioning them today, these issues I am facing, because I am also going to be tracking my attempts to make them go away. Some of these things are going to be with me forever. The herniated discs, that's a problem that goes back probably around 20 years, and it wasn't diagnosed for 15. So they're pretty much stuck the way they are. Apparently, when a disc hurts bad enough in back that it affects the alignment of your ribs, it will hurt in front. And if you tell doctors that you hurt in front, they check you for your heart function, and when that's okay, they send you home. I've had problems with that a lot. I had one doctor take a look at me when I said I had pain in my chest and say, oh, you have costochondritis. You should Google that. Goodbye. Costochondritis, incidentally, is the medical term for having pain in your chest. I have a little issue with the way doctors want to get you out of their office as soon as possible so they can get more patients in. My current doctor, much better, takes care of me properly. My endocrinologist, really, really dedicated and a little frightening. My endocrinologist is a small Asian woman who scares me. Just saying. That being said, so what do I do about this? If you have read my blog or watched my Facebook page at all, you may have noticed something. I like food. I like me some food. I'm a big fan of bacon and donuts and ice cream and I will name a food, and I probably have an affinity for it. Deep fried chicken gizzards? Absolutely. Chicken livers along with that? Sure, if there's a mustard sauce to go with it. Fried chicken, hamburger, steak, fish of all kinds, seafood, deep fried calamari, pizza. I like me some food. That's an issue because I don't have a sense of moderation. None whatsoever. I like me some sweet drinks. Oh, yes. I'm a big fan of soda. Big fan of milkshakes. And that's also not going to fly anymore. There are some things I absolutely need to remove from my diet. And some things I absolutely need to do in order to not have some of these problems. 27 years ago, I was a fit martial artist. Now, I'm a martial artist. Fit hasn't been part of my descriptive for quite some time. So, what I can do, and am doing, I've increased my water intake. I mean, a lot. I went to 7-Eleven. I got the biggest jug that they provide you to fill up with a Slurpee machine, or sodas or whatever, and that's dedicated for water. Water and ice are the only two things that are ever going to go into that. I need to drink 4 of those a day. On a good day, I'm up to 3. I'm trying to keep it around 4. If I need a drink with a flavor in it, I will have iced tea, unsweetened, maybe with lemon, coffee, iced, usually, also unsweetened. If I'm having a very, very good day, I'll take some whipped cream on top of that. Not an awful lot, though. Mostly air and sugar and some fats, but not as bad as dumping 3 or 4 sugars or a couple of tablespoons of simple syrup into my coffee. I really do like and occasionally need me an energy drink. There are, however, some energy drinks that have come out recently that have no calories, no sugar, and most of the things that are bad for diabetics have been pulled completely out of them. Yes, it's a little bit more chemical energy than I normally should have in my body, but higher metabolism, burning more calories, and that's actually a good thing for me at this point. The coffee I drink is, I'm a big fan. Here's a plug. I don't do plugs very often. I like me Death Wish coffee. Go to deathwishcoffee.com. It knows what its name sounds like. It is the coffee with the highest caffeine that you could get in coffee, and it's powered an awful lot of my writing. That's why there are Death Wish stickers on the back of my laptop when I open it up. That being said, I try to hold myself down to 1 or 2 glasses of that a day. Diet's only going to go so far, though. And I know some of you probably have a lot of excellent suggestions, and I'll take those in the comments. Please give me your best suggestions for low carbohydrate, low sugar, and if possible, dialyzed foods. Because I do need to be careful of the kidneys too. The problem with having 5 herniated discs is that it makes any level of physical activity somewhat difficult. I can walk from one end of an amusement park to another, but then I'm done. Getting to the back lot of Universal Studios or to Toontown in Disneyland is a chore because my hips and my shoulders are not really fully connected. It takes a lot of extra energy to keep myself balanced so that they don't hurt, and once they do start to hurt, everything becomes harder. I never thought pain would be this big of an issue in my life, but it really is. I have a prescription for Percocet that I try very hard not to use because I don't want to become dependent on a painkiller. And Percocet makes me do and say interesting things. I've written a couple of game supplements on Percocet. I almost did one of these vlogs on Percocet. That footage is never going to see the light of day. That being said, I have a gym membership. If you have a gym membership, use it. My wife and I got this membership a couple of years ago, and we have not used it to its fullest extent, not even close. At the moment, however, I am dedicated to 3 days a week. 3 days a week, I wake up way too early, get on some shoes and socks, and go to the gym down the street from my house. I do some cardio to get myself warmed up. I do some resistance training so I can build muscle. And then I have a lengthy water routine so that I'm working against resistance over my full body for a good half an hour or so. It's a start, and it's going to build up as I rebuild my strength. It's not all I'm going to be doing, however. Walking is also good exercise. If I can take myself out for about a mile, especially on days when I'm not going to the gym, that'll help. There's another form of exercise that I have used in the past somewhat extensively and should be picking up again. I am not a trained practitioner of kendo nor kenjutsu. I am, however, trained in stage combat, and I have studied enough other martial arts forms, particularly martial arts forms that employ weapons, that I've got a pretty good grasp on swinging a sword, or in this case, a shinai. So, this is another form of exercise that I'm going to be practicing on a fairly regular basis. This is not the kind of exercise that one can do alone. So, this is a little footage of me stretching and doing a brief workout with my son, Andrew. Andrew's 14. He's going to be taller than me someday, probably by the end of this summer. And we need to train. He needs to get to a point where he will not get to the point I am at. And if I can serve as a negative example at the moment and give him some guidance and direction, so be it. That's something that I'm willing to do. Plus which I love the sound this stuff makes. Using swordplay to work out also reminds me this isn't something I can do passively. I can't just sit back and not do things and expect to get better. I can't just sit back and not eat the things that I like and not put myself out and expect the weight to come off or the stress to come off of my body. And this is a fight. This is a fight every day. It's a fight to drink that much water when you'd really just go for a nice cold Coca-Cola or Dr. Pepper, or I need to stop talking about it. It's a fight to not go and grab a handful of snack between meals. A couple of pieces of toast. Just a couple of pieces of toast with some cheese. Maybe put the cheese between the toast. You know, at that point in time, you might as well throw it in the frying pan. It's a grilled cheese sandwich, but you know, just a grilled cheese sandwich. Or two, because the pan will hold two, and it's like wasting space if you don't put down two grilled cheese sandwiches. And if you've got two grilled cheese sandwiches, you need some tomato soup. And, well, now it's another meal entirely in between two meals. And, oh, God help me, I can cook. Being able to cook is an important skill, and it's one I would encourage everyone to pick up if you don't already have it. My son's a good cook. My wife is a good cook. And if I am bored, I can entertain myself in the kitchen with the contents of the refrigerator, and that doesn't help. It's a fight. If I am going to be waging war for my future and my health, I probably need a better weapon than this. I've talked about my friend Wayne Ziegelmeyer, great name, and the owner of Oniworks. Visited his workshop a little while ago, and he helped me to craft this. This is the sort of someone who needs to lose weight. This is the sort of someone who's ready to fight for having a future. It is a prop. It's foam rubber with an aluminum core, paracord wrapping. I did the painting myself, put a layer of clear coat on it. And even though it's light for a sword, I like that kind of balance. I like having a lot of control. You go figure, me, like having a lot of control. Being able to shift a grip to adjust my power and, well, let's demonstrate this. Good catch. Over time, I hope to get better with it than this, but getting back to having a warrior's code, a martial artist's code, not just about how I deal with the world, but how I deal with myself. Again, this is something that I'm not going to be able to do alone. Unfortunately, I'm not. I have the support of my family. My son goes out there and clacks swords with me. My wife does what she can. And incidentally, on the other side of this camera that I'm talking to is my personal assistant, Devin. She has been invaluable in making sure that I don't kill myself, providing me with my coffee and my water, and making sure that I get up and do what I need to do, and occasionally that I don't do things I need to not be doing. It is a thankless job, even though I thank her a great deal, because it makes me a Mr. Grumpy Puss. And I am not a pleasant Mr. Grumpy Puss. So, for those of you who are willing to give me advice and encouragement, I do post a check-in when I'm done at the gym, not when I start, but when I'm done, every time I go to the gym. And some of you have already thrown encouragement my way there on Facebook, and I really appreciate that. That does make a difference in my dedication to move forward. There are going to be times, however, when I really, really want nothing more than a chocolate-covered hamburger and a bacon milkshake, and I can't have those, or I'm going to be a Mr. Grumpy Puss. So to my family and Devin, my personal assistant, and to the rest of the world in general, I am sorry in advance for the times I am going to be a Mr. Grumpy Puss. I will not be posting about this on a constant basis, but I will post landmarks from time to time, benchmarks that I need to hit. Whether I'm doing well or doing poorly, because the fear of public shame is also one of those things that drives me along pretty well, despite the fact that I occasionally dress up like a supervillain and pretend to fight ninjas. Next time, something probably a little bit lighter. More role playing games or comic books. Comic books aren't a light subject anymore. Or maybe if there's any requests for it, I'll talk about some of those news stories I discussed at the beginning of this video. There is a lot of room for discussion in those, and those are conversations we probably need to have. But as I have discovered, I need to not have those discussions while I am on Percocet, because that doesn't go anywhere good. And again, I'm going to apologize to Devin for making her sit through me doing that at least once. So, for now, I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me, and I will see you next time on the next Matters of DeCorum.